Go live. Owen just believes that it's 5:04. He doesn't know for a fact, but he just is saying 5:04.
I refuse to acknowledge any. I refuse to point out that Eric is wrong. We just had a very rough reptile fight club
Yes.
that did devolve into shouting. So
Yes.
it's like, at one
I did
point
get a
it
little
just-
passionate at
Yeah.
the end. The old Eric made a showing.
Justin and Chuck are like, "Oh God, like,
What have we done?
No. So
I think
now I have to compensate by agreeing with you for everything that happens for the next day or two. Be like, it's 5:04.
well,
Damn right it is. Want to know why? He
You're-
told me so.
Yes. So what's up, everybody in the chat? We figured we would do this is going to be a me and Owen show, and since it is well, I guess it was a little bit past Python baby season, a little bit, but we figured we'd hit the topic
for
of
some, that is. Other
some.
ones of us
Yes.
don't stop, apparently.
Are you on team spring breeder, team winter breeder? Are you team ball python?
I'm
Whatever
slowly
it is that
becoming
you are.
team babies happen whenever. So
Yes.
it's
Exactly.
yeah.
Some chondro people, they breed all year long, So anyway, we figured that in part of our breeding series that we go through, we figured it would be good to talk about getting your babies established.
Mm-hmm.
And then what does it take? What's our feelings on what it takes to have them ready for sale?
Oof.
But
I'm struggle busting with that right now. You
Yeah.
know, I got kids everywhere that need to get the hell out of here. So
yeah. So yeah, should be a good show. But first, we must do some housekeeping.
yes.
I actually got some snakes.
What?
I did.
The owners of these snakes know you got them?
Yeah.
Was it those wild caught IJs that I saw? The
yes,
1.1?
That's the ones.
What?
No,
really? Oh.
no.
Because I was tempted by those. I didn't get to mention that yesterday.
Wait,
when I saw
where were they?
Oh, Steve Katz put them up.
Get out.
1.1 wild caught IJs, supposedly breedable size by next year.
Were they nice looking?
Yeah, they're right.
Yeah, no,
they're not horrible. They
Right.
are wild caught, which means
right.
they haven't been refined. But yeah,
right.
they're IJs. Like I was tempted to, if I had money, I'd be like, I'll buy them, not tell Eric, and be like, look what I did. Yeah.
Going to buy them for your wedding present?
No, please,
honey. Well, I kind of made a mistake and told Eric to sort of buy us this.
Eric bought us carpet pythons.
Is this a Simpson?
Yeah, it's fine.
Is it Simpsons that she likes? That's the
she
one
likes.
right?
She bred Stimsons, so she had a clutch of Stimsons.
Gotcha.
Years ago, and she loved her Stimsons pythons, and she desperately wants to do the Stims again. But I don't think she had a hand in getting the babies feeding when they hatched. So I think otherwise, I think the love affair with the Stimsons would have broke because I keep hearing horror stories. So I don't know.
Right. I don't see. Oh wait, it's a post maybe. I'm looking.
Yeah, he had a couple posts about it. Yeah.
Snakes available. I just see snakes available.
I'll
have to look later.
Well,
it's not like we're doing a show or something.
Yeah, not like we're doing some sort of thing. It was.
You said IJs. I got distracted.
They may have been swept up because he had some bredli, he had some jungles, and a couple other things he was throwing out there. So the IJs may have gotten swept up.
Yeah, I do have. I guess I could. Yeah, I guess I could share the.
What did we get? Why
Let's
didn't I know about this? You didn't tell me you got snakes until we got on air. What fresh hell is this?
Well, you brought them.
Oh yeah, those. Okay. Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I got some really killer.
There it is.
Killer coastal striped coastals from Billy Hunt, Uwabami Reptiles. Me and Billy sort of have snake trade that we do all the time. Back and forth. It kind of looks citrus tigery, man.
It does.
I'm kind of impressed with this animal.
I
to be
am
honest.
too. It's very cool. I like the subtle blushing. So
Yeah, the parents. I think we must have talked about it on a show.
mm.
Oh, and this was the so these are the parents, and I don't know. This animal just really impressed me. Like,
Oh my god.
that is killer snake.
Oh my god.
Yeah. It's almost like Exantic or something, you know?
It's
standard carpet. God damn it, Scott.
God damn it, Scott.
Oh, that's a mop bucket.
There you go. That's it. Scott's like, I don't see the difference between these two pictures. It's like a snake and a mop bucket. These things are the same. So,
and this is the sire. Yeah.
Cool.
So,
yeah, I can see
cool.
why you grabbed that.
Pretty cool. I'm into it. But Billy's an awesome guy.
Yep.
If you haven't checked out his stuff, me and him are quite infatuated with the striped persona of carpet pythons.
Yeah. He also sent me a tiger female. She's nice. She's pretty. She reminds me of like my classic tigers that I had years ago. So it was cool to kind of have that back in. Yeah. And I'm sitting here and I'm like, there's so many things I can do with this. Like, so much more room for activities. So yeah, that was cool. So I got her, and then I transported those other two to you. So,
you know, books. I don't know if I think I talked about this on Carpets and Coffee. But
don't show it to me again. Don't show it to me again.
The book, you know, for those of you that
Yep.
don't know, it's amazing. So.
Yeah. He let me hold it for a little bit and thumb through it. So
hold on. I'm gonna show, because we talked about this on Reptile Fight Club last night.
Yeah.
But this is the picture Scott Iperson sees in the chat. I'll post up his look at that jungle, man. Look at that jungle.
And Scott took that picture of that jungle.
Yeah, and it was missing a tail.
That's awesome.
You're
awesome.
Right. It really is like a Bible, man. Like
you could kill someone with that if you hit them. Yeah. Hello, have you heard the good word of the carpet python today?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Hello, have you heard of this word from the holiness the Podfather? Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Yes, of course. What else is going on? I don't know. We did Reptile Fight Club last night. We fought about. Should we tell them what we fought about?
I think we should.
It was in the chat. It was in the NPR chat. So we have a NPR chat thing that we, I think pretty much anybody that's cool is in the chat. I'm just kidding.
I mean, of course.
They are all cool. Yes. The old one side by side. So it's the side. Hold on. Go
ahead.
It's
the size of two of the complete carpet python. So if you had two copies of the complete carpet python right next to each other, the more complete carpet python is about the same size. So it is literally double the size. So
here's two.
Yep.
Complete carpet python.
Pretty close.
It's pretty close. It's pretty close. So that's side by side.
Jesus.
Let's see how much. You can see Eric dressed up as a priest on Halloween. This is another cool carpet python book. In case,
do I not have that one? Wait,
I don't know. Do you? It's got a rough scale on the front. Look at that.
I should have. That's why I should have it.
Yeah. So that's a cool one. I grabbed that while I was doing it. Oh yeah, there's one too. Oh yeah. I should show that one too. There's a coastal carpet that's like on Scott's fence. Oh wait, yeah, there it is, right in the tree. See it?
Okay.
Yeah, it's his backyard.
Scott just wanders outside, finds a really cool python. Yeah, no wonder he calls them crabbits. He has to like kick him out of the way to get to his garbage cans. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we only have 48 days, so this should be fine.
Keep saying we. You keep saying we, and it digs the knife in a little slower each time.
I forgot.
There is no we here. You have 40-something days.
Yes.
Yeah.
which means you have like what,
I don't
30 days until you're married. Very good. But we thought about the pros and cons of a morph in a rare species.
Mm-hmm.
So, guess which side Owen took.
I still believe that coin flip was rigged, and that hurt me very much to do those points. So, yeah.
Scott's lucky. He's going to Germany to promote his new book.
Nice.
The Elapid book, which is, I can't wait to get my hands on that one too. Hopefully, I'll be done this one 2 times over by the time I get that.
You go quick read through that Shine, finish up the Shine book, and then you can.
Oh, I forgot about the Shine book.
Yeah.
God damn it! So many books to read. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
I did get it's like the Australian and New Zealand reptiles and amphibians picture book. AHS puts it out. It's pretty cool.
That's awesome.
Pretty cool. Yep. But we're going to be talking about babies. But in the meantime, and speaking of babies,
yes,
how's it going over there at Baby Central?
It's pandemonium. I am slowly running out of bins, but I have gotten a bunch of stuff feeding, and I took a ton of pictures over the weekend. So I'm gonna like have all this crap up on the up online for sale and stuff like that. So like a ton of caramel stuff's going up, jungle stuff. Some of the mad hogs are starting to eat more and more. So just going. And then the olives hatched and they have shed before the white lips did. And the white lips, all but 3 took their very first meals right off the bat. So
wow.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool.
I know. It snakes after my own heart. They ate like crazy. And they're vicious little killers right from the get-go. It's like, yes.
So here's a question that sort of goes into maybe what we're going to talk about at some point down the line. But like, did you do an order of mice way ahead of time, knowing you're going to have X amount of pairs producing?
I mean, of course I did. What do you think I am here? A fool who doesn't expect to breed as much as he does?
Well,
I mean,
I wouldn't say fool.
I would, but I would. So, I mean, the easy thing is that you can always throw a couple of orders of fuzzies and pinkies and stuff in your orders to throw them in the freezers, and you can do that throughout the year. And then usually I'll usually try to stockpile a couple extra bags of fuzzies and hoppers and stuff when I'm getting into it. And then you need at least 1 bag of like pinkies for the really small species. But I'll also get the orders of the baby quail from like Rodent Pro and a couple things that I'll do that throughout the year as well, so that I can have a good stockpile of quail, because that's a good thing to use for when they're not feeding. And olives just love birds. Like, if I'm expecting an olive clutch, I'm like, I better make sure I have some quail, because
I wonder what it is about olives that they're attracted to birds as babies so much.
I mean, they're so big as babies, dude. Like an olive takes up my whole hand right out of the egg. And I mean, I think they're opportunistic. I don't think an olive python born in Australia is going to be like, nope, I will only eat bird. They're going to hit anything that comes across them. But I think the majority of the food that they get is birds. It has to be. I do not order my rodents from Rodent Pro. I have a local guy that breeds my rodents. He also does chicks, rabbits, guinea pigs, bunnies, everything under the sun, but he does not do quail. The smallest bird he can get is a chick, a couple-day-old chick. So if I want anything smaller, I got to go somewhere else.
Yeah. Yeah, I was using Cold-Blooded Cafe, but they don't have any type of birds. So in order to get birds, I have to go to Rodent Pro. And then this last time, I see that's, you know, I guess if you're running like a feeder business, I know it's not as easy as it sounds, but like I don't know. I would think, especially with a lot of people doing like like a variety of
Mm-hmm.
prey items,
Mm-hmm.
that I would try to, even if you bought them.
That's, I think, the thing is what they do is I'm not sure if they farm it. I know they produce the rodents, but they may have agreements with other farms that
Yeah.
do birds because I can tell you right now that all the chicks that I buy from my local sourced guy, they're all boys because there's a ton of chicken farms out here in Lancaster and they don't want the males. So they'll do that whole thing. So there you go.
Yeah. Yeah. I didn't even think about that. The counter shading that they have.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
I mean,
But
it makes sense, right?
what you and I do is we usually just go in on one box together a year that's
Yeah.
filled with all the different size birds, and then you just kind of milk that for a year because you have the problem is that with the weird thing about birds is like the smaller they are, the more expensive they are. Like
Yeah.
one bag of those baby quail is like 60 something bucks, whereas like two chickens in a bag is like $5. Like it's like okay, so you can just kind of use it that way. But bird is, I think people when I especially when I first started having an animal on birds was like, oh god, what, oh god, like nobody wants it if it's on chicken. It's like
Yeah.
now
Remember that?
yeah,
Remember
now
how
I'm like, how
weird
can
that
chicken eat
was?
shit? Like it's the other thing is I'll go and get the whole like a chicken wing from like the supermarket, like just the whole chicken wing, and
Mm-hmm.
just straighten it out, and it's basically just like if you cut the webbing in between, it just becomes a whole straight thing. My
Uh-huh.
snakes will eat the whole thing, and no problems there.
Yeah. This is
You got a J?
Darren posted this up. I want to say this is an imbricata. I think that's what he had said it
Maybe.
was on one of the islands, and
Mm.
it was eating the birds. You see that a lot with carpets.
Yeah. It doesn't always need to be a white mouse that was born in a lab.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
The so yeah, with the bird thing, right? It's kind of like how supermarkets are set up, right? You put the soda real cheap, so they come in. So you're losing money on soda, right?
Of
You make
course.
no money on soda, especially in Philadelphia, they have a tax on
Tax
it and all
on,
that
yep.
stuff. So people go outside the city. But the point is that if you're losing money on that, you are going to keep that customer there getting other stuff that you are making money on. That's sort of the idea. So my thought would be like, I don't know why more rodent breeders are not sort of catching on, and even, you know what I mean? Because that happened to me, right? I'm like, well, you got to fill the box to make the shipping
that's the
work,
problem.
whatever it
Always
is.
got to
So
fill
it's
the
like,
box.
I gotta, I
Right.
guess I'll buy some mice and some rats and this stuff, and
Yep.
fill it up. Even though I don't really like rodents, so I try to get the exotic stuff.
Right. That's why
hamsters,
it's
gerbils,
easier. That's why it's
stuff like
easier
that.
for when you and I are like, let's get a box and it's just a box full of bird, and you just fill
Yeah.
it with all that, and then you call it
Yeah.
good. But I mean, I have some African sulfurs downstairs right now because I got for one of my carpets that wasn't eating, and I don't see the hype. They're just a fuzzy rat. Like I don't get it. So
African sulfurs.
yeah, I don't understand it. But
In the earlier days, I don't know, man. I really have not ran into problems with feet. I have one carpet that is the pain in the ass to eat. It's a Cape York Archer River male.
okay.
And man, this thing will not. It's like one of those droppers.
I hate that.
Oh
Go to
my
hell.
God. It's like, then you finally think it ate it. And then
you
you
smell
get the
it later.
dreaded smell like the next day. You're like, oh man, the wife's yelling at me. She's like,
How
I
old
thought
is
you
it?
took care of that. God, I don't know. A couple years old, maybe.
Put it down for winter.
Small.
Put it down for winter.
Put it down for winter.
Yep.
Well, what? It's like 100 degrees outside, man.
I'm just not now. Like no shit. Put it down in this coming season. Put it down for winter. Let it experience no food and all this other stuff for a certain amount of time, and the drops. And then when it comes back up, because my Macklot's python was the same. It would drop every rodent and would only eat chicken. And then I dropped it down for the first year because at one point I'm feeding this thing like 6 chicks because it's a growing Mac.
Right.
I bring it back up and it just starts nailing medium to large rats and never look back.
Yeah, I've done that with females and bigger
Yeah.
ones and all. So it's definitely something that works. Before we get into the more of the feeding stuff, what did you think of the new shipping company?
The
Red Line Science Shipping Company.
I like it. I mean, I've been using Rodent Pro, but I was kind of trying to do a shift over to oh god.
Not Rodent Pro. You mean
No,
Reptile for you?
Reptile. No, I was using All Pro Shipping. Ship Your Reptiles. Yeah, and I was moving over to Reptile to you because is it Reptile You or is it
Reptiles
something?
to You?
Reptiles to You. Yeah, I think it's Reptiles to You.
Yeah.
Because the price breakdown between the two was insane. Like it for Ship Your Reptiles, it was here, and then for Reptiles to You, it was like here, and they both got there, and I started kind of experimenting by like shipping something out and seeing if it actually they work just as good. So
yeah.
I
guess they're going to get into. I mean, it's competition is always a good thing to where. I think the thing though with shipping is that must be a hard nut to crack. And as far as I think that most people that have been shipping with somebody for a long time, like I've used Ship Your Reptiles for forever, right? And even though I've thought about changing a couple times and trying out some of the other ones, what's the one that Mike runs? Is that Reptiles to You?
I don't know. I don't think it is. I think that one is
Reptiles Express.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Well, it's one of those things where I tried it, and I think the problem is that I get set in my way. So like when I go on to Ship Your Reptiles, it knows all my stuff's tied into it. It's all locked in. I just type in and there it goes. So you get used to it, and you don't want to do a new thing because you don't have to get used to it. But if we're talking like $30 cheaper, that adds up when you start sending stuff. So, and that honestly can make or break a sale sometimes because people don't seem to understand that you can buy the animal and then it's your responsibility to get it to you. I will not give you a break on shipping because that's not what costs me anything. You have to pay for that. Yeah. So, yeah.
I think that's getting tighter and tighter too. Do you see that as much as whereas like when people would offer it and say free shipping?
Right. Well, when it started, it used to be $20-$30 to send anything on the East Coast. Then it started to get to like 40-50 towards like Midwest, and then it was like 80 out to California. Now it's like $100-something out to California and Arizona and that whole West, and then it's 50. It's not any better. Like it slowly drifts back. It's still like $40 to send something to New Jersey.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I mean, THN is in the house.
What's My God. What?
I don't know. I think like, very much like Eric Hernandez, like I've been using Ship Your Reptiles since 2009, maybe, I guess, when they first came out. I personally like the fact that I know the people that I can talk to when I'm having them pick it up, when I have a problem, that I know their name. I know, you know what I mean? They kind of know who I am. So,
but doesn't it grind you a little bit that some people who have been using another shipping company, after they do a certain amount of time, they get discounts and stuff like that? And I've been using Ship Your Reptiles for this long, and I've shipped out this many things. There's no discounts that I've gotten.
Yeah. I think
like you hear about like Reptile Express and a couple other things where it's like they've been there for so long, they've done this many shipments. Now this is their rate for shipping.
Justin, is Reptiles Express the one that Mike is at? Because that's the one I wanted to change to, just because I like Mike.
Yeah.
Mike's an awesome guy, and what a hell of an accent. He's like a mini.
The problem is that when we used to be, and people will, it used to be that you had to be flagged through FedEx, and you could ship through FedEx. And those were the rates that you could do, and you were given the opportunity to ship the reptile through FedEx. And that's how it used to be.
Yeah.
And
Where
then
you had to, is that when
oh
you had
yeah,
to send a box?
I had to send a box.
Yeah, you have to send a box.
box for them to grade.
Yes.
And then they gave me the permission. So like,
Yeah.
I had a shipping certificate. I was allowed to ship through FedEx.
Yeah.
It was nothing but a headache because
I think the problem is, right, you don't have that direct connect.
right.
You're just a person, whereas like with Ship Your Reptiles, Reptiles Express, Reptiles to You, whoever you use, you know, Redline Science shipping, is, you know, they know those people that they can call.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
It's
so I've been in that position where I've had to argue with people at the FedEx office to make them look me up on the computer to show them that they can take this box over there and put it on the cart, and then have some other people do it. I had a hub in Arizona call me because they refused to put the snake on the truck because they knew what it was and they didn't want to do it. And I had to lose in my mind and freak out over those people. Like I've had all that, and shipping companies take away that bullshit. Like you don't have to deal with that anymore.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's a good thing that there's other competition, because I think that it's going to lead to, you know,
Stuff changes. Yeah.
You know, it's so funny. I was thinking about this when I saw him post that up, and I think it was like, what was it, 2007, 8, somewhere in that area, when they first brought out shipping of reptiles.
Right. Yeah.
You know, up until that point, you basically had to have this FedEx account, and like, you know, only the top end breeders at that point were really people doing
that, or
anything
you
with
shipped
that.
it as mixed nuts or fragile computer parts, or yeah.
But you know, oh man, and that company that first came out, I can't remember what it was called. But they used UPS, and you couldn't ship through UPS. And the guy was a real piece of shit. And he bamboozled everybody, stole a whole bunch of money. And then that's when Robin and Chad came out, and they brought Ship Your Reptiles, and they sort of took it over. But instead of using UPS, they used FedEx.
If Delta Dash wasn't the most horrible thing on the planet, I would send all my snakes Delta Dash. Like, first off, it's
Isn't
expensive.
that like the big crate inside a crate?
That's if you're like shipping a crocodile, but like Delta,
or like Chris Celebrity when he ships bears and tigers.
Exactly, like those. That's what Delta is. That's what That's what that is. So I mean, the problem is that you have to go to the airport. You have to go to this thing. You have to sit there. Your box is right over there. You can see it, and you're like, "Can I get it?" They're like, "It hasn't arrived yet in the computer." Right there, it's the box that says Owen McIntyre. I know it is. So, and yeah, you have to use Delta for venomous. I think it's.
I know nothing about that.
You shouldn't. I think you also should use Delta for monitors and things like that, just because. Come on,
the
now.
Size,
the cardboard box. It's not going to keep a monitor inside.
You're gonna send an Aki. I know it's in here somewhere.
Little wooden box. We're bringing it over on the forklift. They just put it down on the thing. Yeah. But it's any minute now. Need a hand truck? No, I got it. Thanks.
Yeah.
So, but it's. I've had it where you drop the animal off. Its plane is at this time, and you just get to the airport at this time, and they unload it and they hand it to you. And it's like the fastest, easiest thing. But yeah, you have to like go to the airport, which sucks. So
yeah. What does Lisa say? I'm a FedEx carrier since the 90s. And I remember seeing some messed up ways people ship reptiles.
They still do.
Remember when people like would ship their snakes in socks and stuff?
Yeah, yes. Or what was? See, the problem is, my favorite is that when back when it was like fragile computer parts and crap, like it was like all of a sudden it was like they would shut down for the weekend, and they would just be like, and the snake would go in a building or not make it there, and that's what sucks, is that because it was not labeled as an animal, they extra didn't care. I mean, they don't care already. I mean, you can slap as many stickers on it that it's a live breathing thing in there. They don't give a damn. But when it wasn't, it was just, that's what it was. Like, they didn't care. I had to drive to New Jersey to pick up a snake, my first M-Pen, when it did not arrive by the time the FedEx hub near me closed. And it was Friday. It was a Friday.
Oh,
and
geez.
if I didn't get down to her, she was going to be in a thing for the weekend. So yeah, like 9 o'clock at the FedEx hub in New Jersey.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Dude, there's, as much as you want to bitch about like what it is like now, we cannot go back. Like,
no.
Oh my God, no.
No. Do you think that, like, here's another thing I've been thinking about. We're talking a lot
And
before we get into the baby thing.
It's good. No, it's fine. Keep going.
Do you think that, like, I don't know, I just was, I think I was, what was he on? Zuckerberg was on Rogan a couple days ago. Maybe it was last week sometime. But anyway, I was getting to it. I wonder if there ever will be a virtual reptile show. Do you ever think that? Like, I think about, like, you could basically, like, set up a table, and with the way that cameras are going and cell phones and all this stuff, I mean, look what we're doing right now. You know what I mean? And, like, you could, like, you know what I mean? If you put on this virtual reality thing, you could go to this reptile show, and I don't know. I think the benefit to that would be is that you're not going to get mites. Right?
That is true.
That
is true.
See, Justin's with me. VR shows are going to happen. I think
eventually,
that's the way, man. I think it's the way.
Eventually, I think what'll end up happening is you'll set up a VR store, and somebody can come in on their little whatever the fuck and peruse your stock. I mean,
yeah,
it'll eventually end up being that way. So, snake sales are hard enough as is. Now let's add to it. I don't know. Can I virtual reality with your snake? Sure. Cool.
Well, I guess you could see it in, like, different angles and stuff, and you could
probably
take it out, and
virtual reptile show.
Was there?
Yeah.
I don't know. I was a worker during the pandemic. I wasn't stuck inside. I had to go out with
and we salute you for your service. Yeah.
Was it service?
No, but it's your livelihood. But
yes.
No, I mean, I wouldn't mind it. I'd be all for it. Things are obviously as different. It seems like technology advances, and then we just find a way to use it for reptiles. Like, you had that, you showed me that one little robot that, like, turns on your lights for you, and I'm like, ha.
Dude, it's a great. Oh, speaking of which, here's the thing, right? I know that the people have talked about this, and this is sort of old technology or whatever, but I got this Switch bot. It's like a temperature humidity gauge.
Oh,
right?
okay.
And here's the cool thing. I got a SwitchBot humidifier, right? So that I can go in and I can program it to say, okay, if it goes below 70% humidity, I want the humidifier to kick on.
Yeah.
If it goes to 80% humidity, I want the humidifier to turn off. But I have a constant graph. And we talk about, I had no idea. I knew it was humid in my reptile room.
It is very.
I don't know what it is about my room in particular. On the East Coast here, obviously, there's a lot of it's very humid, right?
A lot of your air ducts go, I think, right above your goddamn ceiling, right in there. Yeah. There's that one that's like right between.
There's that cold air that's going right through. And it's like it accumulates like the dew on the. You have
a cold air tunnel in the ceiling, and then a bunch of cot cages. I don't know why it's humid. Wait,
dude, it is 79% humidity in my reptile room, and I'm like, man, that is, and like it dips down. I think the low was, what was it, 71 maybe. So like, I think when Rob says, me and Rob talk about this all the time, where it's like, when we talk about breeding or we talk about conditions or what gets animals going, we take for granted, because I would have thought for sure maybe 50-60% was my room, not 80.
80, yeah.
not 80.
You have a
You know,
tropical rainforest that you're trying
I
to
don't
keep
even
like
have
desert
heat on in
species
my
in.
room right now, and
Yeah.
I opened up the window, and the humidity got higher. I don't know, man.
How does this work?
But the other cool thing is, like, I was gonna redo my lights and everything,
Right.
and they make this thing. It's SwitchBot makes it, right? And
Mhm.
what it is this. It's like this. It's like this little box, and you put it on your light, and it has this hook on it that you attach to the switch.
Right.
So when you want the light to go off, it pulls it. When you
Right.
want it pushes it. So, it turns your light on and off basically, but you don't have to go in and like redo the have like a
You have to
Wi-Fi
rewire it, or you just put this little
rewires and all that stuff,
shit right there. Yeah.
right. Yeah. Oh man, they're talking about Simpsons. What did I
Something
miss?
along those lines. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, holy shit, humidity, man. It's really humid. And it's down in the 40s for you, Jason, at night. My coastal carpets that I got from Billy, they're on the back porch, man. They're loving life. They are loving
I want to
life.
say it was close to 70 last night. It's going to get down into the 60s and 50s tonight.
See, I guess I'm still too much inland or out, towards the coast, I guess.
You're not that far away. If it's getting down to 60 for me, it's going to get down to 60 for you.
Yeah, maybe, but
I understand you live closer to Philadelphia, where the collective
60 degrees is
hatred
not cold for a
keeps it
snake.
warm.
Isn't that crazy?
What? Yeah.
Wait, listen.
What?
Come on, man. You're going to tell me that 60 degrees, if we went out in the middle of the night and it's 60 degrees, that a snake wouldn't be out. A carpet
No, it would automatically. That's when it would be out.
Right.
Yeah.
Guess what? When it was 90 degrees, guess where the snakes were?
Not the fuck out.
They were hiding. They were hiding
where it was 60 degrees.
As soon as the lights went down and the temperature dropped and that heat came off, right? Snakes were out cruising around, man, like cruising all over the place.
This is
it's my new quarantine room, is my porch with my plants, because it's just basically like an open porch, right? The windows are open, everything is open. It gets real nice sun in there, but like it's shaded enough to where it's not hitting the snake. Oh man, they freaking love it. They tore it up.
Perfect.
Yes. Of course, I can't keep it out there on the window though. In the winter when it's like -2.
Snake's not doing so well. It hasn't moved in a while.
Right. So anyway, yeah, that was technology. All right, let's talk about some babies. So babies hatch out.
Yes.
What's your time frame? From how long? Oh, so let's break it down, right? We're going to be focused particularly on pythons with a strong tendency towards carpets.
I'm glad you specified, because there's a lot going on here. So yeah.
Yeah, I know. So like, and then Owen, if you want to interject some colubrid talk or things like that, of like maybe tips and tricks that you can to do it. And I guess if you really want to dive deep into colubrid talk when it comes to getting babies, the gentleman at CCR did a tremendous episode on getting babies going. So
nice.
Nice. Really cool tricks. They talk pinky pump and everything, man.
No, I refuse. If I have to get the pinky pump, you deserve death. Like, that's no. So, yep.
All right. So let's start with carpets. What do you do? What's your thing? They hatch out.
Set it up. Leave it alone.
Leave it alone. What's your time frame?
It needs to shed. Yeah.
Shed. Okay.
It needs to shed. Now, if the entire clutch is shed and there's one holdout, you're okay to feed. Because I really doubt that one didn't absorb its yolk when everybody else did. So just try feeding. I would say they need to. It used to be they would shed their skin and I would offer them a meal immediately. I feel like you have more success if you give them about a week after they've shed and then offer, because you want them to get hungry. And then obviously the first thing you do is you start with what you would want them to eat. So start with frozen thawed hopper mice, because you're not going to get everybody, but you'll get a few. And now those will just be on hopper mice forever. And that is the same thing for colubrids. Like, I had a couple of the mad hogs eat hoppers right away. Cool. Done. I had 2 blonde hognose ate pinkies right off the bat. perfect. The rhinos, they haven't shed yet. So, but that's great because then you don't have to do anything else with them. You can put those snakes on autopilot because now you're just going to offer them food and they're going to eat it. Hopefully that's the plan.
Yeah.
Then after you offer frozen thawed a couple times, frozen thawed hoppers, and you still get ones that aren't necessarily feeding. Now it's time to start working tricks. And same deal, you start high and you work your way to like crazy. So you start normal and then you work your way to insane. Because you don't want to like offer everybody frozen thawed geckos because then you have to feed everything that ate a frozen thawed gecko. So you start with things like scenting chick down, easy. Right. Then you can start scenting where you thaw it out in a bucket full of chicks. You can try scenting with chicken guts. You can try braining. You can try different food items like you can try different types of rodent like baby gerbils. You can try live. You can try all the things that are really easy for you to do just as a straight up keeper. Mm-hmm. Then you start dipping into things like you have to go get button quail babies, or you have to go get a gecko to thaw the hopper in the gecko water or canned tuna water. Or
by the way, how cool was it, that gecko skin that I
it's awesome. I love that thing. That's another thing. You try wrapping it. So how I get a lot of the mad hogs and some other baby pythons feeding that aren't going is that you thaw them out with the gecko scent juice from Reptilinks.
Right.
And I usually put in a whole dead gecko in there, and then I'll use the skin and I'll just put it over the head of the hopper. And sometimes that's enough.
And you've had to do that with carpets?
I've not done it with carpets. I refuse to do it with carpets.
Okay. What are you doing that with?
Mad hogs.
Okay.
Mad hogs, and I might have to do it with a Chinese king rat.
Why are they tough? What are they eating in the wild? That
everything.
They're just eating anything.
I mean, they're
anything that they can get.
Mouthed, like they're Pac-Manning themselves across their natural habitat. They'll put anything in their mouth and just eat it. So
yeah, I've done a couple of things and tricks, and I've changed over the years. Well, I haven't bred. I didn't breed this year. So
many moons ago when you used to breed, yeah.
So I used to have this struggle where I could, and this is carpets, right? Darwin's, man, to get going. Oh my God, they're tough.
Yeah.
I've heard diamond pythons are just as tough.
Breadlice suck.
I think it's because breadlice suck because they're more they're not as nippy as Yeah, I gave it to Owen so he could use it, but it's so cool. Dustin's the geckos I got from Dustin Grom, it's shed in one piece. It's the coolest thing I've ever seen in my life. It's got little toes on it and everything. It's so cool. But
I mean, breadlice suck because they're so shy.
They're not nippy. Yeah,
right. They don't bite, so it's almost like it's a coin flip. Either the entire clutch eats frozen thawed and it's great, or the entire clutch eats live and you have to force them. You have to do that for a couple feedings till you get them over on the frozen thawed. So it's really
Have you noticed the ones that are super bitey are bad eaters as well?
Yes.
There's like this, you don't want them too shy, and you don't want them too
right?
Because it's like they're mad at the world, and they they just like throw themselves.
Throw it.
I've seen that with so many different types of pythons. Where
I would say that is. So I told you about the white lips. The 3 that did not eat are in that angry at the world, throw everything phase.
Right.
Like they threw their entire bodies at these hoppers, bit it, chucked the hopper, threw themselves. And it's like they need to just calm down. And actually, what I feel like is you have one of those, that's the one that you really need to give a perch to, because then they anchor themselves and they can't lunge really far because they're all twisted up on a perch or something, and that's when they eat. So but yeah, you're right. You don't want too shy, you don't want too angry, you want a happy little medium. So
yeah, I just, in my experience, those ones that are just like super aggressive or terrible feeders, or they're terrible to get started, right?
Yep.
And one thing with them in particular that I noticed that helped calm them down a bit, and I wonder if it's just stress, because when I would give them a perch and they were above and they were cold, like they anchor on, it's like they sort of like, I don't know, maybe because they're sort of just in the tub and they don't have that anchor, and they just like they're flinging themselves so hard, right? And because they're not anchored to something, they're flinging their whole body at you.
Exactly.
When
they have an anchor, the flinging becomes more of a calculated strike.
Correct.
And it works better. So yeah.
So Darwin's were terrible. I've never really had issues with the IJs getting going. Jungles, I've never had that. That used to be back in the day that they were labeled as the difficult ones.
Yeah, and they were like, oh, they're mice feeders, and you used to have to like pump your male, you pump your jungles up to a certain point, and then be like, start throwing rats at them, and it's like, well,
I think it's because we fed them wrong.
Right, exactly.
You could feed mice, and you could be a mouser. Yes. And it will be fine.
That used to be sacrilege. It used to be like, it's a mouser, nobody wants it. Who gives a shit? Does it eat?
This is a real crappet.
Also, especially if you had a mouser male, who gives a damn? Who gives a damn?
Yeah. Well, it's not only that, like, I don't know. Reading that, there was a paper that Rob talks about this a lot. I know Scott has mentioned it as well. The guys over on Herpological Highlights talk about it. There's a paper, and they talked about Burmese python digestion and how the system shuts down and then goes back into it or whatever. And you want to try to take advantage of feeding it as not as much as you can, but like you want to give it a few meals within this time frame. I think it's like a 2-week time span that their system is engaged digesting that meal, right? So like if you were to feed it, say, like 4 mice over the course of like, I don't know, even if you fed it once a day over that time, and then you don't feed it for a while, and then you have this cycle of up and down type of deal. I think that it wouldn't matter if you're feeding mice. Like Rob, he only feeds all his snakes mice. He doesn't feed any rats or anything like that. All mice. But anyway, I did this thing where when I first started breeding morphs and stuff, where I was having a terrible go at it. I remember how hard it was to get albino zebras to get going. I tried the bag tricks and all these different tricks. And then that sort of led me to want to feed live from the gate. Right. And just try it, and I had some success with that, but it's such a pain in the ass to get live. I'd have to order it through Matt and then go pick it up, and I don't know. It's just a pain in the ass.
To be honest, I have 3 mice that they're usually producing a litter of pinkies every like 3 weeks or something like that. Usually once a month I get a litter of pinkies, which is fantastic, because then you let them. Like I've literally pulled the pinkies, offered them to the snakes, and whoever isn't eaten goes back in with their parents.
With the
and then we'll try again later. Like it was just.
Oh my god! That's often be there.
Listen. I'm a monster. I know, it's fine.
You're terrible.
It's all right.
We survived.
So, the food chain sucks.
No, you didn't.
Sometimes it's not fun to be on the food chain, but
no.
But that's how I get a lot of stuff eating. So, and then now we have the 3 rats, and the rat will. I mean, the one rat we had downstairs had 19 babies at one time,
right?
And I'm like, holy shit! So it was like I was taking like 5 or 6 rat pinks, because I have that one speckled Madagascar hognose that only eats by nest rating. So I just kept giving him rodent nests to raid. Yeah, kind of. Like it's, I mean,
what was that, Squid Games or whatever?
Whatever.
Is that the one that was on
May the odds be ever in your favor. Nature's a bitch. What do you want here? So yeah,
carry on.
So I'll do that. So now that speckled hognose is actually putting on weight and size, because I keep giving it a bunch of nests to raid, and it'll eat the rats all the way up to Fuzzy. Like, and it'll eat like 6 or 7 at one time. So now I might actually get to the point where I can actually try to breed the speckles.
I think at your point, man, you need to really start breeding at least a few mice. No,
yeah, it's one of those things where I didn't want to do it. I fought so hard.
You did.
but then I kept having animals that needed live, and then it
Yes.
happened. It happened once where I got a bunch of rodents, and it turns out I had one male and two females, and there were pinkies in the corner, and I'm like, well, now you have a purpose, damn it! Like it was just like, and then the rats happened because I got two
wait, you
live
have
and
rats too?
yeah.
Oh, Jesus Christ, man.
got-
Lots going over there at
I got
Casa
two.
de Owen.
Listen, I got two rats, and I put them in with snakes, and they were not eaten. So then I put them in their own cage, and I found out they were both females. And the next day, Melissa shows up with a male rat, and I'm like, "Well, shit!" Like so. Now we have that, but we've had to separate the rats because they were breeding too much. So
you're too successful.
It was too successful.
What is going on over there in the water over there at the McIntyre house, man? Everything is breeding.
I'm very good at breeding things this year. I don't know what's happening.
Oh man.
But it's
Owen's
great.
Gonna have a twins come 2023.
No.
You're gonna be in Luke's boat.
No. Well, what was it's weird because I got the mice and I had no baby snakes yet. So I kept just, freezing and killing off the litters of pinkies that I got. So I had one of those big bags that all the rats come in, and I have it full of hoppers that I've produced just in my own house. Nice. And it's just like, well, shit. Okay. So
yeah, man. I mean, it's gotta be cheaper.
It is. It is. Because you know what? You can go to Walmart and they sell cheap ass rodent block in the size of like a cereal box. And it's for like $1, $2.
Yeah, but is that any good?
Shit's been breeding on it. Like it's
guess.
been working.
You know what I found? Oh, hold the phone. When I was driving back from Robert's house, hanging out with Robert and Jason, I never went up 611 the opposite way. I've always went towards the turnpike. So I went the opposite way. I hear Justin from THP talk about Tractor Supply Store all the time.
Yeah, oh yeah.
And I drove by and I was like, oh my God. There's one that's like 10 minutes from my house. What is going on here?
Tractor Supply is great, dude. Yeah. Oh yeah.
It's Shangri-La for reptile keepers.
But it's, I mean,
go ahead. Sorry.
We went online and we found out that there was like some sort of corn cob litter bedding that, like, it's either litter for cats and then it can also be used for bedding for rodents. Cheap as shit. We bought a couple bags of it, and you're rolling. And if it takes away the stress of having to feed a baby, and the other part is that I don't have to like feed my live feeders and then wait for the next reptile show. Because a lot of times reptile shows happen like in rapid succession, and then they take like a big ass fucking break, where I have to make sure I go to the reptile show because I need live. Like, it takes that off. So
yeah. So back to what I was saying with me. I did live for a while. I did that for one season, and it worked okay, but I think next season came around. I don't know what was going on, and I sort of just wanted to stick with the frozen thawed. I tried. So first of all, to me, the first thing is setup, right?
Right.
I think it's important for carpets that you have perching. I think that's important because I think a lot of their, just their instinct is to sort of hang like a chondro and sort of wait. I mean, it's not the green magic snakes on sticks that only do that type of thing. Mystical
green dragons that are on sticks. Yeah.
Many of the Morelia do such weight. So to me, I found that usually if I don't, I mean, I've gotten babies to go without that, but there was a couple seasons where I kind of got lazy and I didn't have the right stuff. But for sure, 100% of the time, if I had, I would drop feed too. I didn't even I just put it in there overnight, let it go, come back in the morning, and it was gone.
That is the best part of the best part of colubrids. It's like you just put it in there, walk away. Like I don't need to sit there and be like, I wonder if my king rats will eat. Like it's
So here's a question: colubrids or pythons are easy? Boids or colubroids easier than to get going, then
Dude, it depends. It
no,
depends. It so depends. Like I had a clutch
just in
of
general, what's your success rate for one versus the other?
I mean, the success rate for one is I've been breeding pythons forever, but
Right.
it depends. It depends so much on the clutch and the individual. Like I had the entire clutch like super caramels this year, and I've just been banging my head against the wall, and I have 2 out of 12 eating.
Yeah.
But then all my corn snakes took pinkies right out of the egg. All my white lips, except for 3, the majority of them, my pine snakes all took. I got a good amount of the mad hogs eating now. So it depends on the thing, but it's one of those,
Yeah.
it's a war of like attrition. You just keep
Yeah.
grinding. And then eventually I will get to this happy point where I'm at in like February, when feeding babies comes down to open drawer, throw mouse at snake that's coming for you because
Right.
it knows food's coming, and close the drawer. And it's like all of a sudden one day feeding the babies goes from like 2 hours to 5 minutes. So yeah.
Yeah. I think, well, I think the ones that I've had the hardest time with are Jags and
Yeah.
something with Darwin in it.
Jags are definitely harder because the problem is that
Because they're neurologically
exactly
compromised.
they're like food, meh, and then like they meant to go left, but they go right.
Right.
So it's that I would say my hardest ones, I've always been morphs. I mean, there's always like the prettiest one in the group has always got something where it's like, no, it's like, no, you're not gonna like that. I wasn't asking.
Right.
But I've had a couple where I've had to force feed and do all of this stuff.
I think
These blonde hognose babies, so far the majority have not taken now twice. So the next step is I got to start doing different things. I might try to see if they'll do fish. I might try to see if they'll do when I got a baby from somebody else, they said gecko scent. So I'll probably have to start doing that with them. This may be the year where I have to go get like a live gecko and just figure it out that way.
Yeah, I think for me, right, one of the things that I've learned over the years of doing this is that prey size matters as well. Right. I never used to take that into account. I used to think like, okay, all baby carpets will eat a hopper and I'm good to go.
Right.
But I found that some species prefer larger prey.
Yep.
Some species prefer smaller prey. Case in example, the Tully jungles that I have, right, for the longest time, struggled with getting them going. And Rob breeds his own mice. And for whatever reason, Rob's mice are like Morelia crack.
They smell like Colorado.
I don't know what it is. It's all the weed in the air. I don't know. Makes them munchy down or whatever. I don't know. But some of the so he like sort of sells off some of his excess stuff to local guys and whatnot. And they swear that like if they try to get rodents from somewhere else, they won't take it. I think I brought this up a while ago. It's like I got these I got the black coated mice,
right,
and my carpets were like picky about it. Like, the picky ones were like, well, no. And I'm like, what the frig would the color of the coat, the fur?
Some do, man. It's weird. I luckily got into the thing where I got a bunch of those black mice, because the good thing about those mice is that the strain is relatively small. So an adult black mouse is like the size of that in between size of a hopper weanling, a small adult white, and then my large white mice. So that was a great one to get some of those snakes transitioning, because I had a couple that weren't necessarily ready for that next step. Like I had my Bairds, my female slamming food. The male was kind of touch and go, and also he would drop a lot. So getting those smaller black mice would get him. He ate those and he started growing more, and now he's starting to take those bigger white mice.
Gotcha.
So, but nobody cares about Bairds anyway.
Ouch. Justin Smith Schmitty's gonna get you.
I threw that out there to see if he's paying attention.
tempting.
Yeah, I did
okay.
tempt the Schmitty. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, I you know, as far as I'm sort of with you. I wait till they shed. So here's a question.
Yep.
Do you feed babies when they're in shed after?
Yes.
So you feed. It's Friday. I'm feeding.
If it's food day, and you're
Doesn't
not,
matter.
if it's food day and you're not hideously blue, I'm talking like blind, can't see shit, you're getting offered food. Because I've had ones where they eat and then they shed, and the shed is caught or like right where the food lump starts, and I have to go in and like rip the shed so that I can peel the rest of them off. So, I mean,
only
shut up.
The shed gets stuck. Take a note, Rob.
They're healthy. They're eating what? It's fine.
Oh man, that's great.
It's only happened. Well, it happens a lot actually. So, it does happen at least once a year. So
that's great.
Yep.
I'm not gonna lie, I've had that happen too. But I don't feed snakes when they're in shed. I don't know why. I just always thought that they're sort of focused.
Yeah.
No, I know, but I've always felt like they're sort of focused on, you know, all their energy and whatnot is going towards, you know, getting through the process of shedding skin, which is pretty freaking cool, by the way.
It is. I enjoy it.
I know it's like those things we just take for granted.
Olive babies, their sheds are so fine that like that first shed,
like white lips?
It's never complete. I don't know what the white lips are yet. They haven't done it yet.
What do they feel like as babies? Are they similar?
They're
like
velvety.
Really soft, velvety.
Like, the baby white lips they feel like a carpet that needs to shed. They're smooth, but it seems weird. And I'm like, all right, well, shed. Like you guys are totally out there. Like you should be going blue. But like the olives came out of the egg, immediately went blue, and all immediately have shed. And they hatched after the white lips, and they've all shed before the white lips. So but the shed skin of an olive is very fine, and they don't do it in a complete thing. Like it can't. There's always just curled up pieces all over the thing. And then baby olives after that shed, they feel so velvety and nice. It's awesome.
That's cool. Oh, Richard got some green tree python eggs. Nice. What kind? Yeah. Say it in the
green
chat.
Tree python eggs. He told you.
Well, I mean, is it a locality? Is it designer? Is it
green tree python
bloodline? Okay, fair enough. We'll move on. So yeah. So I currently, you know, my just approach is like I said, just doing the drop, and I would say probably my experience has been maybe 90%. Cyclops locality. Very nice. Congrats, man. It's good to see somebody doing some locality chondro breedings. I always appreciate that.
I wish other chondro breeders in our area would do something like that.
I know you're out there, Mr. Pingle. Pringle. When's he gonna breed some Arus?
I don't know. He keeps saying that he doesn't care what you think about Arus. Yeah. He taunts you with those Arus. Yeah.
I know. He'll just taunt me. It's all
right. He's talking about other projects that he's all excited about that I have to reel him in on. But something like that. I don't know if he's ready to share with the world what he's got cooking up. So
yeah. Yeah, another trick that I've tried over the years is, and I actually got this from Keith McPeak and Matt, and it kind of worked for a little while with carpets. Is I used to take, instead of doing a hide, I would just take a whole bunch of sphagnum moss, like a hand clump like this, and I just sort of put it in the tub, and they would sort of get under there. And it used to drive me nuts that I get this real nice New Zealand high-end sphagnum moss, and they're under the paper, and I'm like, God damn it. God damn it.
So the white lips and they have a humidity hide. So it's
Okay.
normally you've seen my hides, so like little plastic
Yep.
squares things with little holes cut in them. The white lip hides are actually like when you go to the store, you can get little containers that you would put in your lunchbox for like snacks and stuff like that. And then I melted a hole in the top. So it's a sealed plastic container, and inside's a bunch of damp moss, and then the snake can slide in through a hole at the top. They don't use them. Like, I mean, they use them periodically.
It's because it's 70% humidity
Probably.
in our reptile rooms, man.
I mean, they use them periodically.
Why do they need that?
But I mean, like, they are the dirtiest animals, and not because they're like shit and pissing everywhere. It's because they're gliding through the moss and then whipping around their cages. So there's little tiny bits of moss all over in their water and everything. So, but that's something you do that's something you need to consider when you're thinking why the animal isn't feeding. Well, maybe it's not on the same level as some of the other stuff. Like, I'm not sure if the white lips would have done as well if I didn't give them those humidity hides.
Right. I remember when I had a bunch of short tails, and that would be one. That was scared the shit out of me, right? For sure. That trick that I just talked about with the moss is like, except in the case of short tails, I would just put the entire tub as just a layer of moss.
So
and it would be bulkier in other parts or whatever. But like when you would go in, you didn't know where the snake was, and you would be like dangling,
wiggling underneath.
And it's just like, no, because they are like 100% ambush.
So
like
it erupts from underneath,
and it's just like shooting out at you, man. You're just like, whoa.
That's what I imagine. Sand boa keepers are just like, where are you?
Yeah.
Like
it's probably the same thing. Yeah, 100%.
So I got a quarantine breaks in a couple weeks, and I got to move the ring downstairs.
Okay,
and I got to set that up, and I've been thinking about what to do for her because there's got to be a shit ton of humidity, and then where would they consider wanting? Like, what would they want? So, yeah.
Is it okay? The secret project?
Shit. Well, yeah.
Not so secret anymore.
Not so secret anymore. Yeah.
How do I proceed with this one? I don't know.
Well,
wait for the Patreon chat, which, by the way, we will be doing right after this.
We'll save that for that. Yeah,
we'll do this after the show. We're gonna do probably in maybe half hour, 40 minutes,
40
something
minutes,
like that. Then we're gonna jump on over to there, and so for the Patreon people, we're gonna
continue discussing things. Yeah,
we will fill you in on the secret project, and then we're gonna give our thoughts on the Animal Con event.
They'll be interesting.
I thought that would be something that would be good to do for the Patreon thing.
Yes,
I have some feelings on that.
Some thoughts,
good and bad.
No,
but anyway, back to babies.
Yep.
Doesn't eat. Baby doesn't eat. How long until you try again? Week? 2 weeks?
10 days.
10 days.
10 to 14 days.
What's their typical time frame between when you're feeding babies?
10 to 14 days.
Okay.
And there's something that grinds my cross so badly is when you get a new snake and you're like, I smacked it in the head with a mouse after it just went halfway across the world in a fucking box, and everything is completely changed and it won't eat. All right, well, leave it alone. Hey, I came back at it yesterday and I'm still hitting it in the head with you need to give the animals time to adjust. So if you try feeding it and it doesn't eat, going down there tomorrow, more than likely, you're not going to get it feeding. More than likely, you're wasting a hopper.
Yeah.
Give it time.
I just don't. Where did that come from?
I don't know.
Like, I wonder where some of our.
I want to find the one asshole that did like an unboxing video that did feeding right after and smack him with a.
I think it must be like some, I don't know. I think of somebody and they're just excited about the snake eating.
I understand that, but that isn't helping. And also when you do, I would want to say that I think you don't want to shift feeding options all that quickly either. Try one thing once or twice, then shift. Don't just keep hitting it with a bunch of crazy things, because then again, every time the door opens, who knows what the fuck is happening? And if you're doing it multiple times a week, and I say this because I was the person who fed my babies twice a week because I thought you needed to feed them twice a week because I thought that was the only way you could get them big enough before you could sell them. Jesus Christ, before they were a year old, they were eating like grasshoppers.
Right.
It's not good.
It's so funny how different sectors of the python hobby, right, look at those things as what is ready for sale, right?
Right.
Like, I don't know if it's still a thing, but it used to be in the ball python world that you have to put the weight of what the animal is, but like carpet people, I just took the weight because I was just curious of like what they weighed, and just to get an eye, like put a number with what I'm seeing, right? It's like learning,
Yeah,
that's how I learned.
I wanted to know what the baby the blonde hogs hatch at.
Right.
They're
what do they hatch at?
5 grams.
5 grams? 5 grams.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Holy shit. How small are these things?
It's just so tiny. Like it was just, and it's one of those really tiny thing where I'm like, I'm not sure if me with my giant, like, not a fragile
I can't
person.
get over that.
They were so tiny. They're so tiny.
Holy shit.
That's corn snake, dude. That's
That's like chondro size, man.
Yeah.
That's probably smaller than chondro.
Yeah.
Jason, that's like that little ringneck snake that you had with next to the toothpick and the penny.
The problem is 5 grams, but there's nothing on them but a fucking huge head. Like they just got a head.
5 grams. Damn, that's tiny.
Oh yeah.
Man, my mind is probably going to explode when I breed pygmy pythons. I'm going to be like, wait, what?
How did these worms get into my snake cage? Oh, wait, those are the babies. Like,
I can't even imagine, like, you can't have air holes in the tubs or anything because they're going to get away.
Well, thank God you gave me all those bins that I use for colubrids, or I'm like, that's the only thing they could go into. Like, it was.
Yeah, it would probably be like a 4-foot enclosure for them that thing, right?
Yeah.
Oh, shit. Northern red belly. That was it. Yeah. Holy man, Jason, when you showed me that picture, that was insane. Wow, that was crazy. Do we have Timothy's asking, do we have any experience with Papuan Apodura? Yes, I do.
You do. I do not. And it hurts. I want them.
Funky.
I want them. They're
eaters.
They're so in my head, but I can't. Well,
after you get married.
I have to get married, have to move, then we can start the facility, or we can start I mean, yeah, I would love to do Apodora because that's a project that's right up my alley.
I'm telling. Have you ever worked?
I handled yours.
Handled them. Okay.
Yeah, I handled yours.
Okay.
I handled that one that you had in like.
Did Chris Foley ever have?
No, not. He may have had them, but not when he and I were working together. But you had the one that was in like a 20-gallon in quarantine, and it was on paper, and it had like rub from when it was imported, and you were like, "This thing's a psych," and it was dark as hell, and it was just looking at you, and it was just like death, and I'm like,
that girl was evil, man. Holy shit!
This thing is awesome.
It was so cool, but it was so crazy.
They're terrifying because what was that one? Somebody had a pair of 7-footers. They were both 7 feet. The female still ate the male. Like it was.
Yeah, they legit, mate. And like I've handled all of the big snakes. I've had African rocks. I've had berms. I've had retics. I've had what else? Scrubs. I've had all types of scrubs. Those snakes scare the shit out of me.
Them and ring pythons are slowly clicking up this thing is
there's just
breeding this thing is terrifying. Like
there's just something about that species. I can't explain the strength of these animals unless you've handled them. It's just another level of python. They're just another.
I would love a pair.
It'd
be one of those, like, I would love to get a pair of captive babies to, like, I would do it like I do the white lips, get a pair of captive babies to raise up and do everything right, but then get a pair of wild caughts just to see what happens. Like
to see which is easier.
See what works.
So the thing with wild caughts is really hard to get a male
Yeah.
Right. That's definitely an issue. It's
Yeah.
really difficult. How many people have bred them in the States? The only guy I know that bred them in the States. I'm sure there's other people that
Yeah.
have, but the guy I know is Kevin.
But that's the thing is like if you could do that now with
Yeah.
the technology that we have, if I hatched a clutch of Apodora, I'd send all those sheds for DNA test. Screw it. Done. Now we know.
For what? What do you mean?
Just another sex determination. Just do it that way. So if everybody wants males, I would send the sheds in for DNA tests. This way you know for 100%. And hell, if I was an importer, I'd do that, but I don't think they care enough. So
I can't figure out why though. Like to me, it doesn't, like with them particular, I don't understand, why are they having such a hard time finding males?
Maybe
like they must be in a different area, like meaning that they're using different part of the habitat. I don't know. Fascinating snake, but very funny with eating, right? You can't, again, this is where I got spoiled with Morelia and how easy they are. And when you compare them to stuff like Apodora, like, you hold a mouse, a rat, a chick, a quail, whatever, by the foot or the tail, and it's just boom. With those, you have to have it like facing forward. They're very, very
right down the
yeah, very, very particular about it. Their skin is funny. Sometimes they feel probably very similar to white lips and stuff like that. That real thin retic type of skin, but for some reason they seem to sometimes like shed it. like literally
like it comes off their body. It's not good. Yeah. That I wonder if that's a humidity thing, because I know that happens a lot with baby.
I know they mentioned it in the Pythons of the World.
Yeah,
but this is different. I've had it happen with a berm when they were baby, and berms sort of have that similar type of skin. I stumbled upon this YouTube channel. It's called the Cobra Hunter or something. And basically it's this guy. He said, I may change my mind. I didn't mean to talk you out of it.
No, but here's the thing. You need to understand what you're getting into before you buy this bulldog of a species and it fucks you up. Like it is.
Yes.
They are not. They are a definite higher level species. They're not for the faint of heart. So
I agree with you, Tony. I've talked about this before when it comes to bones, as far as migrational breeding is interesting. I was watching this BBC episode and they were talking about these flamingos that were breeding, and like in order for them to be successful, like they have to migrate to this specific spot, and like this is the only place where they breed. And it just got me thinking, like, is that what's going on here? Like those males have to migrate to a certain area. Is there certain things that
do they have to feel like they migrated? Maybe if you take your bull and I or your Apodora
treadmill,
just drive someplace. Take you and I would just swap males. I'd drive the male for an hour, and then there we go.
Yeah, that could be what's going on. It could be one of those type of things where there's this YouTube video too that I saw that it had. So wait, let me back up. Let me talk about the Cobra Hunter, right? So he finds these Burmese pythons, and they every time. So all these Indo species seem to like cram themselves into dirt mounds. Like they just like cram themselves into these dirt
mounds. The only place you're safe,
because you see the people trying to find the snakes. They're just whacking with one of those hoes, and they're just ripping apart the dirt. And then there'll be like a hole, and they look in the hole, and they're like, "Oh yeah, snake!" And then they pull it out.
This is why we can't go herping it into. It sounds like a lot of work. Like it's
man,
yeah. A lot of digging.
There's a similar. I can't remember the name of the channel, but there's a similar one where the guy really focuses on short-tailed pythons, right? So he's over there in Borneo, I believe, and he shows a lot of them finding them, and every time they're just in these dirt mounds. They're just like crammed into these little tiny holes.
Snakes like enclosed tight spaces.
They like to feel.
And it's doubly that for Indos. Like, oh my God. That's just where they like to be.
Yeah.
That are up high killing things. Like there's no in between. They're either up really high striking at everything or buried underneath things. And it's like I gave my white lip a 10-gallon tote to lay her eggs in, and she decided to cram herself underneath the tote and spread all the mulch out until it was a divot just big enough for her and the eggs, and that's where she put them.
Right. Yeah, Tony was saying that he's thinking it's possible for females are making the trips for nesting safety, humidity, or something, making the best areas key.
Yeah.
Very interesting. So much to learn.
None of us have the ability to have an entire snake enclosure the size of a mountain, so it's hard to figure that out. So
yeah. Well, finishing off the Apodora, they're big snake. They're awesome snakes.
Love them.
Very, very cool.
I want them,
but not something to for the faint of heart. They are definitely, they definitely will. They definitely have the ability to take you out. Yeah, for sure.
Well, and
they're
also
not going to eat you, but they will take you out.
But I don't care what it does to me. You just don't hurt each other. Like, I don't give a crap what you do. I'll heal. Like, don't kill the male. Like, I need him.
I wonder if that's something that happens all the time. Well, it can't happen all the time.
It can't happen all the time, but
so is it a mate selective type of thing? Like they're very selective about their mates, which makes it difficult to breed when you have a species that is not really established in captivity and you're importing, like, maybe you're importing a wild caught from this area and then, you import another wild caught from a different area.
Yeah.
And they're like, we don't like that area. I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, I think if I were to do it right, I'd set them up and like, I'd go bigger. Like I have 8-foot cages. I'd probably set them up in something like a 10, like something they have a lot of room.
Yeah, they need a lot of space.
And there's also, I'd have multiple hides where if I do have an intro, they have the ability to get away. And that's one of those intros that I'd be there and, breeding season, you got to go and hang with the Apodora. You can't leave them alone. Like no overnights for them. So yeah.
Right. Hold on.
Well, unless they were until you saw breeding activity, then I would leave them be. But that'd be something I'd be worried about.
There's
yeah.
That one was captive born and bred.
Yeah. That one's pretty.
I was going through like my python pictures.
Mm-hmm.
Savus. Berms.
Yeah.
Remember how excited
berms. You were so excited about those berms.
Remember that one?
Oh, that's
golden Tannenbar.
Yeah. I like the patterned ones.
Yeah, I do too, but this thing was smoking.
Yeah. It's over here.
Angolan. But yeah, I had a lot of cool
dude. The Angolan's a feisty thing.
Yeah, they're a little bit.
She wants food all the time, so it's one of those like, if you open that drawer and you're not bringing food.
I missed that girl.
Is that the Sri Lankan?
Sri Lankan, yeah.
There he is.
And I sort of got that.
She. Yeah.
Iridescence.
Yeah.
Just showing some pictures of my pythons.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. Where were we at? What were we talking about?
I don't know.
All right, fair enough.
We were talking about Apodora, which I'm not sure that was part of the
part of the baby thing. That's
getting the babies going. But
a little bit.
You were talking about getting stuff.
Oh, I know my question.
Okay.
Do you find that well, we've established that colubrids pretty much will eat. That's what they kind of do. There's no rhyme or reason unless you have things like gray bands.
Mm-hmm.
What else? What else is difficult? Are corn snakes difficult? They're not difficult, right?
I don't. I mean, they can be. I have hatched 2 clutches of corn snakes this year. I was somewhere in like the 40s. And I kept 3 because I had some people who were interested in corn snakes just as like friends who want pets. And I'm like, here's your pinkies. They threw a fit. They bit it a lot. They didn't do anything, but if you leave it in there, they ate it anyway. So that happens a lot with the corn snakes. I would say a lot of the Asian colubrids, like rhinos, are not easy.
No.
You have to do
Well,
something. You have to do fish. You have to do tadpoles. You have to do all this other stuff. Mike got a considerable. He got 2 clutches of rhinos this year, and he had some good success with fish and
Curtin,
tadpoles.
Mike
Yep,
Curtin.
Mike Curtin. Yep.
Okay.
So with tadpoles too. So I'm like, maybe I need tadpoles.
Well, that's what they eat, really, right?
Yeah.
Isn't
Yeah.
that what they eat in the wild?
Yeah, so they just went and got some tadpoles. I have one of Mike's babies up right here, and she refused scented pink and a fish. I'm gonna move her downstairs, and it's just gonna be trial and error. I mean, you just got to keep trying with them.
I think Rob was telling me about a trick he does with them where he'll feed him a fish and then sort of back it up with the pinky type of deal. Okay.
I've done that. I've done it where I've removed.
I'm assuming you've talked to him in depth about
a couple times. I've had it where actually I cut all the arms and legs off of a pinky.
Right.
So it's literally just a tube. And because a lot of times they would get started, get to the arms and legs, and then just back out and spit it out. So no arms and legs, they just keep going, and then it's down.
Right.
But I have my one baby boy from last year. He just started rolling, like where I can open the tub, put the hopper in, close the tub, walk away.
Gotcha. Okay.
That shit happens.
A year later?
A year later. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
That's why people are like, can I be on your list? Shut the fuck up. There is no list. They will be ready when I'm damn good and ready.
That's the thing. Do people do lists anymore?
So people have to, right? Because everybody keeps asking me. But like I
just felt that it was always this extra step that was like,
I'm not doing a list because you know how many times I've done lists and then I go and I offer snakes to people when they're all feeding and nobody wants them, or they went and they found a snake that was available and they bought that instead. There are no lists.
Like you would be on the list, like, you know what I mean? Like,
right. You know, listen, I have 2 olives are slated to go to Lucas. 1 olive is slated to go to you.
Right.
So
that's the list.
And that's the list.
Right.
That's it. God help everybody else if I only get 3 olives this year. Like that's what happens. But
Timothy, they eat scrubs, by the way. Just so you know. He said Timothy had he was the one that was asking us about the Apodora.
Yeah, I've never heard of a female barneck killing and eating the male. Killing, yes. Eating, no. But Apodora,
they eat scrubs.
They eat scrubs. They eat things. Yeah.
What is Jason saying I'm pulling my leg?
He's doing something.
I don't know if they're having a conversation. So
they probably are.
Okay. All right. Fair enough.
No side conversations. God damn it.
That's okay. I just don't want to get distracted. If they're asking us a question.
But
you rule with an iron fist.
You're damn right I do. If I don't, the whole damn system falls apart.
Yeah, for me, the go-to has always been, I've never had to go to so I haven't bred Antaresia yet, right? So let's be fair there.
Yes. You've never had to go to the weird fringe yet?
Yes, I haven't really had to go to, the whole sending with geckos and stuff like that. Although carpets,
fun experience,
do eat geckos and skinks and stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
Apodora eat bolins? Yeah, I would imagine.
I mean, I imagine Apodora eat everything. Apodora. Like it's
at another level, man.
Yeah, get away from that. It's not a good thing.
They're cool snakes, man.
I love them.
Very, very
I want
cool.
them
very, very
so
cool.
bad.
So I haven't gotten to that point yet, but for me, my go-to is always check down. I know earlier, I think Erica said in the chat that canned tuna juice, like putting the pinkies in that or putting the hopper in that for whatever reason. I don't know why. That seems so strange, right? Why tuna juice?
If it's not, it just smells weird. Like the problem is you're trying to get an animal this fucking big to realize that what you're trying to present to it is something that it needs, and sometimes you just need that kick where they just and you almost see it in their head because they're all all defensive, and then they're like, oh, and they start drifting towards it, and then the bite happens, and then they'll wrap it. It's like all of a sudden they realized everything that was going on in its head, and this is how it functions. Like it's. And I had those non-feeder super caramels, and I offered one a button quail, and it literally did that thing where it was like, oh, drifting towards it, and then bites, wraps, eats it. And then the next time I thought out food, I'd offered it a hopper, and it was like it knew what to do now. Bite, wrap, eat it. And I'm like, okay.
Right.
So sometimes you just need that one kick.
Right.
Its brothers and sisters have now had to shove mouse tails down their freaking throats.
Yeah, I haven't done anything with blackheads. Obviously, they're another
That's fun
thing altogether. You know,
Yep.
most people that go for them, they just sort of
start the force feeding,
assist feeding from the gate. You know, they don't even waste no time. You talk to guys like Derek and Jason, and you know, even Justin and Ryan, and you know, Lucas even did that, right? Didn't he do? Yeah, right from the gate. Yep. So I think with them, you it sort of is what it is. But once you get them to the size, they smash.
They'll cruise. Like you just gotta get them past a certain point. Like even with the babies downstairs, is sometimes feeding them once kicks off the metabolism and you just start going. But sometimes they need more of a kick and they need to just keep rolling, and you got to keep force feeding. Sometimes you'll force feed them and then a year later they'll be dead. It sucks. That's why I usually try not to do it until the snake starts losing weight. Like the second the baby starts looking thinner, it's over. You've lost. You've had your chance. Now I need to do whatever.
Right.
And I mean, like I have one baby downstairs that has a little bit of an underbite that hatched, and it's reluctant to feed because I guess it can't really figure out what's going on. And I'll keep trying, but I don't know. Like, do you really try that hard with that kind of an animal? Because it's
that's the ethical question I was just going to ask. Yes, this is where ethics come into play. And
right, do I force feed, get that animal to go just because now it's still got that underbite? Now it could grow out of the underbite. It could be a wonderful pet for somebody, or it could be bought by somebody who knows because it's a caramel that it's a cheap caramel because I know it was going to be pet worthy, and they're going to try to breed it. And now all of a sudden we have an issue where caramels are born with underbites.
Yeah. I wonder about that with, you know, I think I've heard Dr. Zach Loveman talk about many times, like his main thing that he looks for when he's picking out a snake is, does it eat? Is it a good feeder? He wants the best feeder. Who cares about color? Who cares about pattern? Who cares about any of that? Give me the best feeder. And I think he's right.
Well, I traded king rats to Mike Curtin for some baby Macklot's pythons. He goes, do you want to? I'm like, no. What are your two best feeding females? I will take them. Thank you. I don't care what they look like. I don't need to care what they look like. I'm sure they're gorgeous. I'm sure they're Macklot's pythons. Put them in a bin. Like I didn't. And they're vicious, dude. Oh my God. They're insane.
Liasis is another level.
Man, that's another level of insanity. Oh my God.
They want to bite you.
It's like Liasis, Bothrochilus, and then you get the Epidora.
My water pythons are pretty chill. You know, I think
I might actually have a good chance of water pythons this year because my male put on some size.
Oh yeah,
I grew him up because my female's a bitch, so I just kept feeding him this off season because I'm like, I gotta get you big enough because you keep getting pushed around by her.
Right. Jason, is it cool that I share that picture that you sent me with the battery?
You have 5 seconds to respond.
I think he will be cool with it, but I think people need to see the size of this snake.
Of the like it's a small snake?
Yeah. I'm guessing he's cool.
Do it.
Yeah, I'm sure he did.
I'm making an executive decision. Oh damn.
There it is. That's a
toothpick.
No, he said it in the thing earlier. Some type of wait a minute. I forget what he said it was.
That's a toothpick, and that's a
northern red belly.
Is that AAA battery or double A battery?
That's a double A. Triple A. No,
triple A. It's even worse. Oh my God. Oh my God.
What does that eat?
I mean, like that's one of those things where it's like I fed it a pinky foot. It's like that is northern red belly. Jesus.
Wow.
What do you feed that?
bugs, crickets,
Pinhead
pinhead
crickets.
Northern red belly is what it is. That is so small, man.
That's insane.
Holy shit. I can't imagine that. Oh, that blew my mind when he showed me that. I was like, wow. Made the trip all worth it. Pinheads, yeah, pinhead crickets.
Chopped up slugs. My God.
Oh yeah. That's a good idea. I didn't even think. No, slugs.
Slugs, yeah. Chopped up slugs.
Yeah. It's like escargot, I guess.
I'd literally lose that in its cage. I wouldn't, yeah. I would assume it was gone. Nope.
Wow. Okay. So we talked about, we sort of got into when you should worry, right? I mean, I if the snake's not losing weight, looks good. I
Keep
kind
trying.
of just keep trying every couple of weeks. See, see if you can give it a whirl again. Another tip is feeding at night. I find that right at dusk, I find that I get a real good response then. Now it could be just because, my snakes are eating good, or not. I think because I don't feed really that much during the winter. I don't, you know what I mean? Like all the way that I feed. I used to have issues with carpets eating, but I think it's just because they were just full. Like, just, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, Jason's wife took care of those snakes.
If you feed, I mean, I do feed throughout winter, but I would say that during my winter time, it's when I'm lazy. So all of a sudden 14 days becomes 21. But of course, by then things are rolling, things are feeding quickly. You can just go in and chuck food. They're usually going from hoppers to smaller adult mice. You've got a couple shows here and there. You've got holiday shit with family, this, that, and the other thing. So, the breakup happens that way where things do get extended. You're also not monitoring it as closely because you're not trying to get them established to sell because they've already been established. So you'll see with my cards, it's like every time they feed, it's written down, and then all of a sudden it just stops because like they've like fed consistently like 30 goddamn times. It doesn't matter. So yeah.
Just as I know this is just a side note, but this is a tip that I picked up from Matt Minatola too, is so when I would go to feed, I use like this sticker system so I could look at my rack of babies at a glance and see what's what. As soon as it fed, it got a green sticker. If I offered it food and it didn't take, it would I wouldn't put a sticker on it. And then then you start to see which ones are holdouts. And, you sort of have this thing. So what I would do is like one of those green circle stickers or whatever I put on the top. And then every time I ate, I would put, just mark it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yep.
And then add another thing. And by the time, so what's your cutoff to when you say that a snake is ready for sale?
Depends. So I would normally do 10 feedings, 10 consistent feedings.
Consistent.
Yep. I'm not saying like it feeds twice and then it takes 2-week break and then like it eats again. 10 consistent.
Every time
feedings.
You feed it, it eats.
It eats.
Right.
10. I would say that if a friend of mine wanted it, it depends on the friend.
Oh, that's
like
different. Man.
Like I'll drop off a non-feeder to you. like if you, I'll take it fresh out of the egg. Like I should have brought the damn olive.
Yeah, I was like,
shit.
Here you go.
When I think of that, it's just one of those things where it's like, I've also had animals where they've eaten 3 times or 5 times, and somebody who I know is maybe not as experienced, but is close by, knows what they're doing, head on their shoulders. Sure, you can take that one. I'll sell that one to you. But if I'm taking it to a show where I might potentially sell it to somebody who might lie about their experience or have no experience or need help or hand holding, I want that thing bulletproof, especially if it's going to be shipped or something like that.
Right.
I'm not letting it go until it is consistent. That's why the whole feeding it right after you get it is one of my biggest pet peeves, because it's like, I don't know what happened. I tried feeding it, and it's
Right.
like, I'm like, listen, fucker, I have been feeding that animal for a year and a half. Like, I
Right.
know it eats. It is not, it didn't come out of the egg that size. Like,
Right.
please listen to me. So that's the whole thing. I do have a problem where I want to get everything set up and perfect for the customer. So I've held on to things like rhinos, where they're like consistently eating fish. And I'm like, I can't sell any until they're on rodents.
Yeah,
It's
right.
like, and Rob's like, or you could just sell them as fish feeders. So I'm like, that you can do that? He's like, yes.
Right.
So
Why not?
yeah, let them deal with it. So there's that whole thing where I have like I have two mad hogs right now that if they eat 2 more times, I'm going to put them up for sale, but they're live feeders.
Right.
So that's just what they are. There's no price break. It's just what it's eating.
Right.
So
Right. Yeah, I know Nick used to tell me when I first asked him that question, he would say 5.
yeah,
But you know me, I hoard all my snakes for quite a while, so you're getting an animal that's pretty good. And unless it's somebody like you that's just
yeah,
taking it, you
yeah.
know what I mean?
It's also, it's
those
not
type
that
of deals.
a lot of times if you go to 10, it also sheds twice. So it also is, for my selfish reasons, is I can figure out what the fuck I'm looking at and if I
Yeah.
want to keep it. Like, it's like
100%.
that's,
As
there's
we
also
said
that.
yesterday, we breed for ourselves
Oh
first,
yeah.
right?
Oh God, yes.
Yes. Yes.
Oh God, yes.
Yeah, that's step one. Yeah, I would say, the key, I think, is consistency, right?
Yes.
Whatever that is, just as long as every time you offer a food, it's taking in food, if that's 5 times to 10 times, that's probably somewhere in there is a good ballpark.
If it's taken 5,
if you're selling it more as a pet, I would go more towards the 10.
right. Like, so I would say once it gets past 5, you can start considering it. You can
Right.
take its picture. You can start taking it out of the bin. You can start
Right.
doing more stuff with it. I mean, it still consistently eats fine. By the time it hits 10, it's bulletproof. Just, you're fine.
There's the old, there's our old trick too, where if it doesn't eat, you put it in a car, take it around the block.
Oh yeah, no, you drive it around. Yeah,
drive it around.
I have.
That has worked every time.
I have gone to reptile shows with. I've gone to reptile shows with babies in deli cups that are only there so that they can take a trip and then go home and then stuff like that. And I've had people who were like something sells, and then somebody who's helping me out, they're like, "Oh, you want me to put this one in the display?" I'm like, "No, that one's not ready. Like, it needs to, it needs more time. This is just a trip for that one."
Yeah. Ish was just saying about he's afraid he's going to start holding on his own.
You will. And here's the thing, there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. You should keep at least 2.2 out of, like, you should at least keep 1.1 out of every clutch, unless you need females or you don't need a male. You should at least have one holdback of each sex for every clutch, because guess what? After a year, you can sell it then. It's not a problem. Just get rid of it. Like, you can always decide that. But you should always try to hold, because you don't know what happens. You don't ever want to be in a situation where you have to buy back your own stock because something happened, or you let go of all your animals, or you let go of all your animals from this clutch and this particular thing, and that animal died. So 1.3 is fine.
I got made fun of in the early days of NPR for doing that. Which,
no, you did it. You kept the entire clutch. That's wrong.
Clutch, which is referred to as burking the clutch.
You can't keep the entire clutch. Keep 1.1.
Well, here's why I held it back, the entire clutch.
Greedy person.
No, because I wanted to see what they turned into. Right. So when they first hatch out, I get a visual of sort of like what they hatched out like, right? And I take a picture, and then after the first shed, I take another picture. After the next shed, I take another picture. Then I'll wait a little while, and then then I'll take another picture, and I can sort of just see how certain looks will develop. Right. It doesn't. It's not going to be 100% guarantee that the animal that you pick out is going to be a smoker, but at least I can start to see certain things and traits, and like, how do you pick out a beautiful jungle carpet? How do you know what it's gonna look like as an adult?
I love it when you get to that point, because then it's like when Curtin and I were splitting up the clutch that we did together, and it was one of the I imagine this is what it must be like drafting some sort of like sports team. Like, it's like he picked one and I'm like, don't grab that one, don't grab that one. Yes. And I grabbed the one male, and I'm like, you are staying, it's starring you right now.
Right.
Like, and it was just kind of one things where it's like you do that and you can see him go, because I got the zebra female, because we each got a pair of zebras. The zebra female I'm holding on to because
right.
I want her.
Smoker. Yeah.
Yes. The male has giant, the one that I kept, he's not a zebra, he's just a normal, but he has the broadest yellow bands. He's almost like a 50-50.
Okay.
Like, and I'm like, yes,
Nice.
that's what I want. So
Right.
I'm like, you get to stay. And I know his mother is gorgeous, and his father was a wow line zebra. So I'm like, you can't, the yellows are just, it's perfect. And I don't even want to do a jungle project. Like, it's so secondary.
Yeah. See, for me, right, I often would ask the question, like, how do GTP keepers like be able to pick out
Well, I mean,
what they're going to look
listen,
like?
they'll
right?
tell you that they can look at the red and be like, yes, that one is going to be pretty when it completely changes all its colors into something different. Wait,
Right.
what? How do you?
Yeah.
I know. Wait, but that doesn't make any.
I think like certain looks have, like with the diamonds on the back, like
Okay,
can
certain
equate
looks,
to
certain looks in certain
higher
lines,
melanin, stuff like that, but
a normal straight up green tree python clutch where something crazy could be cooking in there, like, I don't know.
I think it's just like, for me, I can do it with carpets with like that,
Right.
and that's from doing that. That's from holding them back, but I can't really do it with chondros like I can with carpets. So, but
no, I wouldn't be able to do it.
Yeah. And then the only other thing, I guess, is Morph Market is our new go-to for selling snakes.
It used to be king snake. I hear fauna's kind of
falling
weird.
off.
Fauna's fauna. I would say fauna's just kind of become a weird place. I still lift stuff there every once in a while, but fauna is definitely the place where you kind of get more scammers. Maybe I will say that this week was the first week I got somebody who messaged me off of about a Morph Market thing, and it's like, I would like to send you a code and you can send it back to me and it will prove that your listing on Morph Market is for real. And I'm like, no thanks.
Wow.
I'll let they do that, and then that's how they hack into your phone.
Okay.
Yeah. So you have to watch out for that.
That's why
a lot of Morph Market is very much like, I had somebody inquire about an ocelot just by sending me the word wait and question mark.
Must be a ball python person.
Something like that. I'm like, listen, dipshit, we don't weigh it. Like, it's
yeah.
I love to respond to those with like a fully like paragraph of, hello, my name's Owen. Like, and it was just like, I understand that the snake that you're inquiring about, you wish to know its weight. Yeah. Well, unfortunately, here at Rogue Reptiles, we don't weigh them. Like, it was just yep.
Sounds like fun.
Listen, ask a stupid question.
We're gonna switch gears and we're gonna switch over to the Patreon stream in a couple of minutes. I think we've hit on everything we need to
most things
to chat about as far as babies go, getting them going and all that kind of stuff. We're supposed to do the calendar contest deal, but
shit, right.
It's September 1st. We didn't
shit.
But yeah. So that's going to be coming.
That'll be coming soon. Very soon. I'm busy this weekend getting alcohol poisoning. So
yes.
There would be, I will try to get it up by Monday. We're gonna do the traditional calendar competition. I think Eric and I decided on that rather than reviewing what has been slated in the book. So this may be the last year for certain categories.
Yes.
But
enjoy it while you can.
Yep, there'll be an announcement on NPR Pick of the Week, and that's where you'll have to go to enter your photos. And all the rules will be up there like it is every year. And then we have to speak with who the hell won last year? Terry came on with us, didn't he?
Yeah. Who was it? Who did win?
I don't know. And did Terry choose? We have to listen to the old episode. I'm like, did Terry choose who was going to be in there? All right. So the special thing. Yeah, we have TBD, but soon.
Yeah, it's been kind of a crazy month and a half for us here.
It's been a weird year.
My dog died. Owen's getting married.
Yeah.
Work has been crazy. Shows have been coming out late. So yeah, it's been nuts.
Guess what? It's gonna keep rolling. So
yeah.
We'll
get it together and we'll make sure that everything is up. I just wanted to give a shout out, but real quick. So if you want to support us, the network podcast, you can subscribe, share the different podcasts on the network. I say our shows cover snakes and reptiles in depth from more of maybe trying to figure out, what makes it tick, but in a way that the average person can sort of understand.
Yep.
Hopefully that makes for better keepers in the hobby, which will make better lives for the animals ultimately.
Yep.
And, that's sort of what we do. So there's plenty to sort of, to stumble upon, plenty of podcasts you can check out, on the network. But check out the website. If you're for more info on Morelia and what we have going on, you can follow us on Instagram, Facebook at NPR Network, subscribe to the YouTube channel, which you are watching us live now.
It's right.
You are watching it live.
Good job. You did it. Yeah.
What else? If you want to get in touch with us, you want us to hit on a topic, species. I'm finishing up the water python episode, so that should be coming out soon. But info at Morelia Python Radio is our email. YouTube channel. And if you want to do a little more, we have the Teespring store, and then we also have the Patreon, which we're about to go and chat about Animal Con.
Cool.
So I guess if you're a Patreon member, we'll meet you there. Give us like a couple minutes to switch over.
We'll be right over.
And we'll be there. To everybody else, appreciate what that means other than I appreciate what you guys did. 100%.
Good enough. Yeah.
Fair enough, Scott.
Good enough.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
What I'll do is we'll do the live stream over there, and then I'll make a podcast episode about it, and then I'll put it over there so you guys can listen to it while you drive. Because I'll tell you what, man, podcasts get me to and from work all the time. So I feel where you're coming from, Scott.
Yeah.
So appreciate everybody. And for the Patreon people, we'll see you in a few.
Yep.
All right.